Welcome everybody. You're on Mind Your Biz, and we got a crew out of the Supermoon that's making an altcoin token. Whatever you guys got to explain it to me because this crypto thing is getting wild, and I'm trying to catch up. So I just appreciate that a young group of people are really trying to make something happen instead of watching these old guys become billionaires overnight.
Yeah.
So how you doing, Apollo? Tell us about the Supermoon.
Yes. So Supermoon, what it is it's a deflationary Bet20 token on the Binance Smart Chain. That's a bunch of jargon. What it basically means is it's a cryptocurrency. Basically, it doesn't have its own chain like Bitcoin or Ethereum might, but it's a token in that it lives on the blockchain of another, bigger crypto, which is it's Binance. And basically, what Supermoon really is yes, it's a currency though, that we created, that we built sort of a brand and an ecosystem around. But at the heart of it, the actual token itself is just, a way of transacting in this ecosystem that we're building up. And when I say an ecosystem, I mean, what we're really doing is we're introducing a lot of, valuable sort of use cases like sort of solutions in the crypto world, DeFi solutions, entertainment solutions and things like this, a lot of different things, even educational and merchandising and this kind of stuff. So we're building up this whole ecosystem, of basically bringing value in different ways, through different innovative techniques. And at the heart of that ecosystem, that's where Supermoon is. That's the token at the heart of everything that we're doing in this ecosystem. Now,
what made you make it? That's the big question. What inspired you?
That's a good question. I think honestly, it's the type of thing that was sort of inevitable. Like we're a young group of people, and we're all very, we are all very visionary, and we're all big dreamers, big believers. Even at our stage, most of us have kind of done our own businesses or our own sort of endeavors. Mizuki is like, he's into fashion and he has his own fashion label out here in Ireland, in Dublin, Ireland. Like I had my own digital media business. Eclipse had his own marketing sort of thing. Titan had his own sort of Amazon, what's it really? E-commerce business and this kind of thing. So, we're entrepreneurs and creatives at heart. And really, I think it came from a place of we were getting into crypto, and we really started seeing how it was. We started seeing how it was so different from centralized finance in that, the fact that it's so decentralized, people who may not usually have access to, wealth generating opportunities or whatever, with crypto, it really sort of levels the playing field in a lot of ways. And once we saw that, I think we just caught on to it. We started, our minds, the cogs started turning and being like, how can we utilize this as a tool to do what we always naturally did, but on a much higher level? And really, that's what Supermoon is. It's all of us. We kind of pull together. We kind of understanding and using crypto as a vehicle to do what we are always going to do, which is, innovate, bring value to the world and genuinely just create and express ourselves, and also bring people together, which is another huge thing we've done.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. So it's beautiful, but it's also crazy. I mean, it's a big task, man. Like you guys are like,
definitely,
grinding uphill with thousands of other people trying to make these altcoins and tokens. And how are you able to get into this space and truly compete and make a little, carve out a little name for yourself? How are you able to do that?
Really, I think it came from a part of it. You're right. It is crazy. Part of it comes from, being a bit crazy, and that if you're too logical, sometimes you're too focused on how things won't work or why things won't work. I think really during the idea stage for Supermoon, we were really just at that point, we were really just kids with an idea. And it sounds kind of trivial, but the beauty in that was it allowed us to, without focusing too much on why it might not work, it allowed us to think of, really creative things that do work, So even like the whole brand from the start of it, we were trying to come up with different names for it. And I had a few like stupid ideas. And I think Eclipse kind of just suggested Supermoon. And once he came up with that name, then we started realizing, what would be a really cool theme would be to go with the retro wave 80s kind of pixel because I myself, I was a huge fan of, the Mega Man and that type of game at the time. So, really during that stage, we were so focused on the dreaming and the imagining part of it that we didn't stop too much to over consider why it might not work. And obviously, then when it came to the implementation stage, all we did there was we really looked at what people in the same space had done before us. We looked at what had worked and what hadn't worked. We had a huge focus on what hadn't worked. We think it's very important to know what not to do, even sometimes more so than knowing what to do. And really, we just implemented that in a way that, allowed us to have an absolutely crazy launch. The launch was amazing, and it really was a great launch during that period. But more so, what came out of it was the community we built. We really have a community in Supermoon that's like no other, at least in the space that we're in. The way people are dedicated to it, the real sort of passion that's there, not just from the team, but from the community. It's, super visible, very evident to anybody who kind of interacts with the community, on a almost sort of, daily, if not weekly basis. We're getting people, coming and telling us how Supermoon has benefited them. We've had all these kind of really crazy stories about, how we've changed people's lives in different ways. So really, that's how we managed to do it. Really, a bit of it was, being a bit, crazy, being a bit blind, not looking too much at why it might not work. And the other part was just, meticulously, going through what has worked and what doesn't work and kind of putting that into place as well.
Very cool. I mean, you got to be crazy to be an entrepreneur. So that's like the first requirement. So it's all good. I'm curious though, now, are you guys hyper focused on a particular market of audience? Like, do you have I find that a lot of cryptos really try to market to a specific audience because it's easier to do that than just market to the world.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is when we were, coming up with the idea for it, we really sort of assumed that if you're talking about age demographic of people who would be interested in it, would be maybe somewhere between 18 and 30 tops. But the kind of age range we have in our community is crazy. So although we did have initially sort of a specific sort of niche of who we thought we would be appealing to more, it's actually very interesting to see that for many different reasons, we actually appeal to many different people. So one of the examples of that would be that, we came out and we gave a lot of people hope at a time where there were so many scams coming out, and people were just getting scammed left, right, and center. Then they would come to Supermoon and they would see this team that was dedicated to the cause, that was really, working through whether things were good or bad. The team was, they were there on the front lines and all this kind of stuff. So we appealed not to just people who maybe were into the retro wave theme or were into some of the things we have on the roadmap, but we also appealed to people who just, respected that integrity and, were looking for something like that to, plant their feet in their crypto sort of experience or whatever. So in a sense, we did initially sort of have a key demographic that we were hoping to target, but it's really sort of developed and changed since we've begun. So I couldn't really pinpoint it down to any one demographic at the moment.
Hey, that's fine. Sometimes it kind of just finds you, and then it defines you.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what it seems
Definitely,
like you guys are doing. You're putting together something cool. You got a good group together, and now people gravitate. So that you don't even know what kind of people till they just start click. They start hitting you.
Exactly.
So, I mean, this could be a real expensive journey. Like, what are you guys doing? I know you're using.
It's already been a very.
That's what I mean. Time, money, resources. It all, to me, it's all money. So, where are you able to market? Where are you marketing this so people can find out about it?
Yeah. So really, the whole journey of Supermoon has been pretty interesting. At the start, I guess. What we really had, you could call it minimum viable product, in that, it was just funding out of our pockets. As I said, we had our businesses or whatever, and Eclipse sort of had, like his crypto portfolio and these kind of different things. So we were able to fund it through that initially. Then as, time went on and we started realizing the sort of, funding requirements something this ambitious has, it really took us through a learning process. There was definitely a learning curve there where we had to kind of, realize we got a lot of offers, especially during the very start, the pre-sale and launch period, for large amounts of money, more money than we had ever seen, in our lives. for certain portions of the token. But we kind of had to be very wary of that, in that we couldn't give away too much of Supermoon, because we needed to maintain a certain degree of control to continue, doing what we're doing, and managing the project from the team level. So really, there's a lot to get into. There's some of it through private funding, some of it through there's different things here and there that we've managed to do. In terms of marketing, it really is just social media primarily. YouTube is great for people just kind of trying to find out about new cryptos and things in that space. You have Reddit, which is great for people just trying to read up on the newest projects or kind of things coming out. And, our Instagram and Twitter are super active and that kind of thing. So it's really been that. Also, weirdly enough, we got a lot of celebrity endorsement near the start, just because people really, once they saw the aesthetic and everything of Supermoon, people, people fall in love with it very easily. So, we had a lot of big sort of connects from, LA and that kind of thing, hopping onto Supermoon from the start. So that really helped us at the start as well. Amongst other things.
Any names you can mention, or is it on the low?
I think we can mention them. Yeah, they've kind of been public about helping. So Anuel AA, he's a Hispanic artist. His producer and manager, TV, has been one of our big collaborators. Some other names out there, someone who kind of does a lot of photography for the types of Drake and The Weeknd. Kevin Wong has kind of been he's been promoting this as well. And DJ Luan, who's another more so Hispanic kind of face. He's been promoting us as well. Flowrider, there's a few names that have kind of been co-signing Supermoon. So it's been interesting.
That's really cool. And now, where are you guys out of? Besides
Dublin,
the moon.
we're based we're based in Dublin. All of us are based in Dublin, at least for the time.
Dublin?
Yes. Dublin, Ireland.
I don't hear that thick accent. What's going on? Where'd you put the accents?
We're all from different places. Mizuki is from the Philippines. Them three are Russian, from different parts of Russia. I'm originally Nigerian, and then Yue, who's not here, is Chinese. So we're not full bred Irish. So I think the accent doesn't necessarily at all. Yeah, the accent doesn't necessarily come through, but you can definitely hear signs of it.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Hey, I think it's great. It's like a whole international crew, bringing all types of juices to the table. How are you able to market this, to people that obviously are already in the crypto world? They already getting their hands into different kinds of crypto. What are you offering to them that makes them want to say, you know what, I want to get that Supermoon? Yeah,
so I guess initially what it was, and this is what it is with all initial projects, is that people want what's new and what's hot and what's new. That's what the market, that's what the market always wants, especially in crypto. The funny thing about crypto is like a week in the real world is like maybe like 3 months in crypto. Everything is happening super fast. So every single day there's bunches of tokens coming out, and I guess when we came out, we just really stood out. It wasn't really anything to do with what did we offer, but the aesthetics, the sort of time and attention to detail that we put into it was very clear. The way we just came across as a team unit and we spoke to everybody, people just really liked that, and people really loved that, and that was the initial part. But now, actually, with the whole, obviously the maturing, we've been out for I think almost 2 months now. Is it? Yeah, something like 2 months now. So now with the maturing of that, as we've gone through the learning processes and we've really started growing up, so to say, we there's different things that we're starting to bring to the table, and that's really our phase 2. I'm sure you probably wanted to talk about that.
Well, yeah,
later down the line.
What's the next step?
Yeah. So the next step is our phase 2, and what that really is, because a lot of people, when we say phase 2, a lot of people have that question: what is phase 2? So what that really is that we're taking all the lessons and everything that we've learned along the journey, and we're really representing Supermoon from a much more mature standpoint. So we did a lot of the things right from the start, but of course there were things that we couldn't have gotten right, because you just have to get the experience to get those kind of things right. And with phase 2, it's just taking everything we've learned and coming out as a much cleaner product. So in terms of our content scheduling and the different as well the different sectors of Supermoon, they're a lot better defined now, and everyone's going to speak a bit about the different sectors that they sort of manage within Supermoon, except UA, of course, because she's not here. But yeah, things like that kind of define the different sectors. Scheduling, so we know like 2 months ahead of time exactly what we're going to be doing, exactly what's coming out when, and just having sort of things. They seem kind of small, but when it comes down to execution, they're absolutely priceless. And that's really what phase 2 is, as well as us introducing a lot of new use cases to Supermoon, which just means a lot of new, very sort of valuable elements within the market that are gonna they're gonna drive a lot of traffic towards Supermoon. And I'll speak about those when it gets to my turn, but I think everybody should kind of speak about what their main sort of focus is within Supermoon as we go into phase 2.
Excellent.
Yeah. So do you want to start off?
Yeah, sure. So I have a background with fashion design. I own a clothing brand here in Ireland, and basically I'm in charge of the OSM studios. This is our merch, but it's with our
It's
own.
not our merch. It's like our high-end fashion.
Yeah, but it has our own twist. So basically, we noticed that with other projects, they have their merch, but it's the usual hoodies with prints on them. So I was like, why not we try and turn it into like a high-end fashion where we focus more on details and the quality of the products. So yeah, I'm in charge of that, and what we're trying to do is for the next couple of months, I'm actually like in the middle of the process of making the samples, and so like in the next couple of months we're gonna have like our official garments, and
yeah, basically we're gonna be having official high-end garments, and they're gonna be very, very, what's the word for it?
Couture.
Like it's high-end quality. And
yeah.
And also, sorry, also we're planning to have like a proper photo shoot and video shoot to promote it, not just like to put it on the website.
The point really is, that quality, where we kind of realized every crypto that comes out and kind of gains a big community, of course they release merch because it's a no-brainer. But we really said, why would we release merch unless it's it's high quality? Like, why would we just slap a logo on something and try to sell it to people? When we have someone who has a background in fashion, we can make the most of that. So basically he's really getting into making these these very high-end garments and these kind of things, as well as some other things that are going to be coming from OSM studios, but that's the main focus for now. I think that's it. And we're planning to do sort of monthly drops with them, because as I said, within crypto, like a week is like 3 months, so people want something very regularly. So that's a big kind of job.
Yeah, it is, because I also have to do the measurements, like from like my own hands. So it's gonna be challenging, but
yeah, for sure.
It's gonna pay.
No, I love the idea. That's how you're gonna separate yourself.
Definitely,
exactly.
For sure.
So I have a background in e-commerce. So basically what I currently doing for my business, I source products from China and then I import them into Japan and then basically sell them online. So I have experience in like sales and marketing. So what we're going to be doing next for phase 2, it's going to be an introduction to new products. So he's going to be in charge of the studio. So he's going to be doing like the fashion garments.
But his is more so the merch, the things like we have a lot of how do you call them? A lot of, they're not just merch, like some of them are very useful within the crypto world. We have things like there's a possibility that we might have a way of people storing their seed phrase, which is like a special code for anybody who has a crypto wallet or whatever, different things like that. And different, crypto appropriate, or at least Supermoon appropriate merch and this type of thing. And he's really just in charge of handling that whole side of things, everything outside of the high-end fashion in terms of merch.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. And that's his Supermoon merch. And do you want to speak about yours?
Yes, we're also launching our own charity foundation, and we're looking to, as we grow, as the project develops, we're looking to invest more in space exploration, science, technology, and that kind of sphere. As well as that, maybe down the line, we are really really want to get into education side of crypto because we feel like young people like us should have an understanding, more opportunities to get into crypto space as the whole financial sphere is going digital. So crypto is something we believe in, and we believe that even we were just talking that we actually influenced a lot of youth in Ireland as well, our friends, and
to get into crypto and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so education, space exploration, scholarships, that's something the foundation is going to be looking at.
Yeah. And like most sort of primary, or like at least first up, we're really focusing on the space exploration side of things. Our kind of initial plan is to sponsor an astronaut through astronaut school, just to kind of help out in that way through the foundation. But as she said, as it progresses, it'll get more into delving into education, definitely education as well, in more so disadvantaged parts of the world. Because I think one thing we really realized, as I said, I mentioned kind of briefly earlier, is about how crypto really provides opportunities to people who, would not have had those opportunities if you're just talking about through centralized finance. Obviously the banks are controlled by whoever or whatever. But with crypto, it gives people an opportunity to transact in a currency that's decentralized. There's nobody controlling that currency. It's just, peer to peer. And if people in these disadvantaged countries understood how they can use that and how it can change their lives, we can see the amazing effect that would have. So, that's a real big sort of thing for us, is to kind of start crypto education in these regions where people need it most, and it's funny because that's where crypto is really starting to catch on the most. Places like Nigeria, where I'm originally from, they've become like the biggest buyers of Bitcoin, but the whole financial system there is, it's really in shambles and it's really falling apart. So it's really people who need it most who are already gravitating towards it, and it's, we would love to be part of helping them learn about it and understand.
Yeah, our charity is actually called Dare to Dream Big, so it actually correlates a lot with the main purpose and the main mission of our project. And the same way this project allowed us to actually dream big and help other people realize that they can do it and the opportunity is there.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's so that's it for their things. Yue, who's not here, she is in charge of our The Moon Is Yours media outlets. So that's involves a podcast that we're going to be doing weekly. Because usually what we do is we have voice calls on Telegram with the community, and everybody kind of joins in there. But we're moving, as I said, with phase 2, we're moving to becoming more mature and more official in everything we do. So, we're moving it to an official podcast. We're going to be talking, we'll be trying to get some guests on the podcast later down the line and that kind of thing. Just as a way of kind of letting people know regularly on a weekly basis, what the team has been up to, what's happening behind the scenes in Supermoon and that kind of thing. And also under the Moon Is Yours, we have live video AMAs, which is basically where we go on Twitch and YouTube and we just, we sit and we have a meeting, the whole team together, and we just, talk with the community and interact, showcase some of the new things we're bringing out, and we'll be doing those fortnightly. So once every 2 weeks we'll be doing those, and that's what you is taking over. And then me and Eclipse, what we really do is just managing the whole sort of central side of things. The core of the token. Running the project from the core, kind of hiring all the different people we need. Obviously the R&D and just everything from we're really management at the center of it. And there's some really kind of cool things that we're working on. One thing I think I mentioned before about how there's kind of a lot of scams that have been happening in the space we're in, especially on the Binance Smart Chain. One thing that we're really looking to implement is a Launchpad, which is basically a way for teams looking to make new projects. Except our Launchpad is going to be offering a lot more security to people looking to buy those projects. It's going to be, at least up to a certain extent, it's going to be able to prevent scams and this sort of stuff. And it's something that's just very valuable, considering how frequently people do get scammed in that space. It's going to be something that's going to help out so many people, and obviously it'll benefit the project as well. So yeah, we're really proud of that. That's something we're looking forward to a lot.
Very cool. Also, why don't you give me the rundown of where everyone can find you through your Instagrams, your Twitters, your your
Of course,
website.
yeah. Yeah, so I mean, our official website is www.supermoon.finance, and you can kind of find everything else from there. I think on Twitter, what are we on Twitter?
Supermoon_token.
Supermoon_token on Instagram, supermoon.finance, supermoon.finance on Instagram. That's really our main sort of things. We have a Telegram as well, which is official Supermoon, I think, t.me official Supermoon. Yeah, that's really our main sort of social media outlets. And you can find everything else from the website, as I said.
Excellent. Well, guys, I mean, I think, I give you much respect, much accolades. You're young, you're entrepreneurs, you're gutsy, you're crazy, you're smart, and that's what it takes to make it in this world. And you're entering in a tough game of crypto, but I like the aesthetic. I like what you're doing. When I went on your website, I like the physical aesthetic, which that's what you got to like first. And now you're adding these other components. I'm wishing you, the best of luck, best of success, and keep in touch with us because we want to know your progress along the way.
Sure, for sure.
And thanks for coming through, most of all, and letting us mind your biz.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks so much.
The biz is here.